What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you, baby. Now, today I was supposed to be hanging out with some friends, watching football on ESPN. One of the few schools that has a contract for a live game. And, like any other day, people decide to quit, right? So let's have a conversation. Buying businesses is always going to be easier than building businesses from the ground up. Now, if you love the channel, drop your city and state and hit the like button. I don't ask for much. I just ask for a few likes, okay? But why am I bringing this up? Ooh, Lord, why am I bringing this up? I'm working on getting visas for immigrant workers visas. I'm just gonna tell you right now, I'm working on getting workers visas for other people outside the United States, because United States citizens whole thing is like, it's the weekend, I want to chill. If it inconveniences me, then I'm done. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna walk off the job. I don't care. And I'm gonna tell you this. Back in the day, when your girl was young, when your girl was in college, I used to quit a job or two. I'm not unfamiliar to that. I don't have to be here, and I'm gonna quit the job attitude. I'm not unfamiliar. I used to do that mess, and now looking back, I'm like, I apologize. Because let's just keep it a buck. A lot of the people you want to help, okay, they don't want to help themselves, okay? I'm trying to say it in a nice way here, because the show, I'm trying to stay PC. But that's just it. You're trying to show them that, hey, in order for you to get to the position where you can just take off when you want, vacation when you want, you got to build it before you just take off and fly with it. Now, building businesses is a 2 to 3 year process. I know many people who start a business and fail, and your family and friends go, see, they shouldn't have started that. See, look what happened to them. And you know what happens is you let people who sit on the sidelines and run their mouth, discourage you from somebody who's actually in the game. Don't do it. Part of the reason I'm even still on YouTube, a lot of people that have businesses are like, oh, I could never do YouTube, Erica. These people just too saucy mouth. You know what I mean? I'm just paraphrasing what they say, but basically, these people too saucy mouth. They're trying to tell you how something runs, and they've never run a thing in their life. You know how I know? Article just came out this past week. 50% of Americans 18 to 29 years old live at home with their parents. So when I'm on these internet streets and people are trying to tell me something that I know, either you in a roommate situation or you home with your parents. Don't try to tell me what, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Now, same thing when it comes to business. There are people say, well, Erica, I'd rather run with 2 or 3 trucks than 12. And they're right. There's a lot of times you make a lot more money and consistency with 2 to 3, because you have, let's just call them what it is. It's like herding cats. You have people's emotions, feelings, what they're going on in their personal life to deal with in a situation when you hire people. Now, buying businesses. Now, you guys know I'm in the process of buying one business. There's other 2 businesses I'm looking at to buy, and there's various reasons. Those won't be as intensive as this one. Whew, thank you, Jesus. They'll be just like a laundromat and just an old little, can't talk about it yet, but an old little shop, right? The place I'm buying, it's easy to walk into a business and say, okay, well, if they just did this, they'd make more money. If they just did this, they'd make more money. Now, first thing people gonna say, well, Erica, it can't be that easy, sister. If everybody could tell them how to do it, they'd do it. No, you're confused. It's easy to walk in a business and an owner is tired. They're exhausted. They've run out of money. They've run out of just everything. They run out of patience. They just there to get a check and go home. A lot of times when people say, well, why are people, when you go on buybizsell.com, and a lot of times you might not even work on buybizsell.com. You might want to just go in some of these places where you can tell it's an older owner. Prime example, maybe 2 weeks ago, I went to the key shop that makes up my replacement keys. Nowhere else in this whole central Austin, Texas, that's close, makes semi-truck keys. Just this place. Not Lowe's, not Home Depot, none of these places. Not O'Reilly's, not Freightliner, just this place. And the guy was like, yeah, I got to really retire my dad. I was so tempted to say, honey, my name is Erica Williams, and I'm about to buy you, because That's silly. You're the only place that sells keys to semi trucks. You need to be marketing that. You're near a hub. You need to be marketing that you guys do special keys, that you guys do special whatever. You need to be calling up all 7,000 carriers out here and making truck keys for them. And you see how I just walked into a business and I start diagnosing what are some of the issues and some of the problems and some of the things they may have not be doing. That's what happens a lot of times when you buy a business. The owners are just tired and they're ready to go. Or they'll just drag along. Now, what do I mean drag along? If you have a business, and people, this happens way more than you think. You ever go to a restaurant or like a favorite little spot and it's always short staffed? They always got a now hiring sign. They always, the food taking 45 minutes to come out the bag. It just is always like that. That owner honestly rather limp along than be bothered hiring more people, running up their credit, doing all this stuff. Because it's a cost factor, right? Now hear me out. When you have a business and to have business partners, everybody in that equation needs to be stable. Now, what do I mean stable? They're not hurting for money. They're not like so money hungry that they'll drain the business dry just to get money. And there are people that do that, and that's why a lot of people go out of business. If you're in a business right now and you're saying, well, Erica, it's tough. Right now, people with the EID loan can't even get it because of credit, right? And the EID loan right now, I think the credit score had to be what, 575? It's not even asking for 600. It's like 570 or it's like 570. So that tells you already that a lot of business owners ain't caring about their credit. They're just focused on making the business make money. And unfortunately, that limits them because now they can't get financing in other ways and other positions other than like basically bad loans, loan sharks of that nature. So while I was out here studying and looking at different businesses to buy, a lot of times you're looking for people who haven't put it on for sale yet. They're just kind of limping. They're just kind of like, I'll just keep dragging it on. It pays me just a little bit in my pocket. I walk around with the pride of saying I own a business, and I'll just keep limping. And I see that all the time. It's not uncommon. I see it way more than you guys would ever believe. I go in a lot of businesses where I can tell they're hurting, not just because of, looks, but of like, I just know because I'm in business. I know what a hurting business looks like. When people call me on the phone and they've got 4, 5, 6 trucks, hey, can I come with you? And I'm like, no, you can't. I'm not going to rock my boat or overturn my apple cart to save you. Now, it's the analogy of a drowning man. If someone's drowning, and I did this in high school one time, I was almost drowning, like they almost had to let me like gas out and before they could save me because I would have took them down with me. That happens in real life. So when I sit here and I tell you I have multiple businesses that make money, if you're not careful, you'll have to go, okay, well, this business is going to have to blow money to this business to make this business survive. That business is called a drowning man. Now, do what you got to do to keep your businesses up for sure. But part of what I'm trying to get people to understand is it's a lot easier to buy assets than to build them from scratch. It's a lot easier to throw some money into Fundrise. It's a lot easier to put money in the lending club. Those things are only going to get you 5 to 10% returns though. They're lower returns for a reason. And same with the trucking industry. It's easier to go buy someone else's trucking business from because they've already got the trucks. Now you're just putting in new structure and new drivers. If all the staff is mad, fire all the staff and start over. I'm not doing that, but I do know someone who's currently doing that, and I understand why. You don't have the time or the energy to try to, come on everybody, rah, rah, rah. If they don't believe in the company anymore, let them go. Peace out. And I know that from personal experience where I sat here and kind of like, hey, let me give you a safety bonus. Hey, let me keep you on the company. Hey, could you just stay? Hey, could you do this? And I immediately gave away my power when I did that. I gave away the position that you should be grateful for this job more into a position of like, hey, please, no. If you have to beg them to stay, you have to keep begging them to stay. And that's dangerous, okay? That's dangerous. It's much better to go, okay, have a great day, peace out. And then they're sitting there looking at you like, whoa, yeah, peace out, go ahead, bye-bye. It's much better when you come into an established business and everybody there now, because the power has changed. You know, they can't just convince Mr. Bob or Mr. Rick or Miss Sally, can they just stay on with bad behavior? New sheriff in town, now everybody tightens up. And that's why it's a lot better, honestly, to buy a business than to build one from scratch. Because people, you build it from scratch with them, they realize when times are hard, they know when times aren't good, they know when you didn't have money. And so they have this kind of like, well, I'm loyal to you, so I only have to do so much. Their work behavior is not always what you want it to be. So when you come in and you buy a business, people don't know what to expect, and so you set the tone. You dig what I'm saying? You have to set the tone, period. Part of also too, when it comes to business, you know, it's easy for people to get on the internet and tell you, yeah, just start a business, you know, just start it, yeah. I've always advocated on this channel, and I will continue forever to advocate on this channel. If you are a person who loves your job, just buy assets. We're in an asset-based economy, so you don't have to go do all this extra stuff. Just buy assets. Just keep buying a little bit of assets that pay you some money every month. Buy a rental property or two. Make sure you're in the right markets that are landlord-friendly, not tenant-friendly. Because you know your boy Donald Trump then came in and said, oh, nobody can be kicked out. Well, honey, what they doing in Texas? They was in Houston. They were whoop, 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 getting up out of there. Okay? So again, buying assets, some ways that are safer than you starting a whole business. I started trucking for the level of ownership, and also too, because it's just money out here, right? But you have to do it in a way that it does not deplete you or deplete your company, right? Because trucking can be expensive. The repairs are more expensive than, you know, something broke in an office, something broke in a window, something broke on a small thing. You're talking about something that's a lot more money than most people can handle. And this is part of too why in October and December I'm doing it like an income, like, hey, not to boast, not to brag, not to throw it in people's face, but to show people that it does cost to be the boss. It's not cheap. There are people spending thousands of dollars to be out here. So for somebody who sits on the sidelines, which that's what they're doing, and critiquing you, you couldn't buy me out. You couldn't come and buy and do what I do. So I laugh about this. I really do. Because there's a lot of couch potatoes and what do you call them? Monday morning quarterbacks and hawks. Now, the reason I bring this up, favorite line that cracks me up for 2020 is when somebody's like, oh, you're watching my pockets. The reason I love this term and it cracks me up, you're watching my pockets means, and I'm gonna paraphrase, I'm doing a shitty ass job of managing my money. You've come in, observed me being a shitty manager of my money, and now have a better plan for me to spend my money. That's what it really should be. That's really what that whole term, when somebody's like, y'all pocket watching me. Yeah, stop pocket watching a grown man. Right? Because, you know, Floyd Mayweather, right? When he's buying all these jets and he's going back fighting again, he's doing all these things that don't make sense for someone who has that amount of money. Right? They're like, don't be pocket watching him. It cracks me up. Because pocket watching is just a way for people to be like, don't critique me on my bad behavior. Don't critique me on my poor money management skills. Don't tell me how I could have did this better. Same thing when we talked about this whole stimulus check, the unemployment. There were people getting $1,000 a week who usually only get paid $10 an hour. So now you gave them more money and they can't, well, they don't know what they do. They're going to do what they already do because their mindset is not in the right spot. They're going to waste it. They're going to spend it. They're going to trick off. They're going to do whatever. They're going to have crab bowls at their house, all that other stuff. And so I'm going somewhere with this. The reason I like the term pocket watching, because it cracks me up, for one, and for two, that's how you end up buying people's businesses. You look at it, you do the math, you see their balance sheet, you see their books, and again, people are like, man, I gotta see 8, 10, 12 years of this business. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. I've worked with too many business people who are buying businesses right now. I'm in a whole Facebook group and a private Kajabi group where they're buying businesses. They'll look at the last 3 to 4 years. Why? Because we're in this economy. We're not in 2018, 2008. We're not in 2010. We now. The last 36 months of this business is a real indicator of what it's doing. Right? And which way is it going down or is it going up? And 9 times out of 10, when you get there, you go, okay, this business is doing this. So I need to step in and do this, right? I'm noticing all the things that are wrong here. Okay, I'm going to do this. That's in the ultimate why it's easier to buy a business than it is to start one. Because you already know if you start one today, you got the next 24 to 36 months of you really digging in deep to make this thing work. Digging in deep. What do I mean digging in? I'm talking about night and day. I'm talking about focus energy. I'm talking about you gonna be in it. You know, too legit to quit. Okay? And that's the thing people don't have. People are watching the internet and they're like, well, Erica, you know, I'm gonna start a digital business. Okay, cool. What do you either gonna serve people or teach people? In order to teach people, you got to have done something. You've got to have an actual something people want. Okay? If not, you're going to be serving people. Okay? Does that make sense? So again, when it comes to buying a business, I follow the same principle. Right now, there's a website for sale where it's a woman who has a t-shirt production company. She already has the staff in place. They already have the warehouse in place. You're essentially buying the blog, the staff, and the warehouse. And they make plenty money. Now you're going to say, well, why would they sell, Erica? If they make plenty money, why would they sell? Because the woman's going through cancer. And she wants to spend all the rest of her time with her family. Everybody don't make it out of these cancer fights. And would you rather be worried about employees, worried about payroll, worried about the warehouse, or spending time with your family? And getting a lump sum money out of the deal so that your family, when you go, ain't got to worry about. They really ain't got to worry about, oh my God, what are we going to do with mom's business? Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do that. You don't want your family doing that, because I've had too many consulting calls where people are sitting there. Well, my mother would have wanted me to do this. You don't know, she's gone. You don't know, she's gone. She may have wanted you to sell it and go be free and go live your life. But because we are in this society where people are like, well, you know, if I made this much money, if I did this, I wouldn't do that. You don't know that. You're speaking out of a place of not knowing. You just don't know. You know what I mean? And so another thing on that is there's businesses all over for sale. There's businesses all over for sale. And I'm in a drive-through, so yeah, I'm at Wendy's drive-through. I'm gonna get me some cheeky nuggets because that's what I want right now, some cheeky nuggets. And I feel like getting them. I'm sick of this new diet. I'm sick of it already. So anyway, part of that, again, when you're buying someone's system and their process, they've already had a process in place. And if you come in, you can tell where in the process there's holes, problems, money's not being made, all that good stuff. And that's the stuff people don't want to talk about, because when you start a business, you got to come up with systems, processes, SOPs. You know, when I talk to y'all about having a YouTube business, right now in the process, just transparency. My company right now, it's just the face is me, right? I can't just sell it because it's me. So what can I do? If I can't just sell it because it's just me, these people cracking me up jumping out of this drive-through when they live in small town nowhere and they ain't doing nothing out here. They can wait in the drive-through. It's just me. That means I have to go through and clean up the channel, clean up the thumbnails, clean up the descriptions, make the courses better. And again, I'll make courses, and I ask people for feedback in the emails, and they'll give feedback, and I'm okay with that, because guess what? It means I started something, and even if it's not perfect, we can adjust and make it better. And see, that's the difference. See, a lot of people are critiquing from a place where they ain't done nothing. Well, you know, if it was me, I would do this. Well, you ain't done nothing. We can't tell what you would do. You ain't done nothing. You dig what I'm saying, y'all? Are you following me? I'm going to check some of y'all comments while I'm in this drive-through. What's up? Make sure y'all hit the like button. There's 140 people in here and 54 likes. Least thing you can do is hit the like button. Black labor still a problem. Hey, Tyler, I didn't say that, but sometimes, listen, I had an immigrant driver who didn't seem like he wanted to work for women at first, particularly brown women. But then he was like, okay, and he went on down the road. Yeah, laundromats. I mean, self-storage. And here, let's even give it a buck. I'm going to probably, the other one I'm going to actually develop, I have no choice because I couldn't buy one I wanted, is going to be boat and RV storage. Why? Because that's higher end and people aren't willing to just let a boat go. They ain't willing to just let a boat go, and they ain't willing to just let an RV go because it's such a high price point. They put so much money into it. Something has to be financially horribly wrong for them to be at that point. And then when it comes to me, the owner, well, baby, I don't want to keep your boat or your RV. If you need me to, I can buy it off you. Okay. There's all kind of ways we can go with that. But that's just it. People are keeping on the stuff for sure. And so there's a market for RV storage and boat storage, higher end clients, less riffraff, among other things, right? Other businesses that seem like they wouldn't make sense in a pandemic, med spas, right? Smaller med spas, right? You're gonna be like, well, Erica, that's a lot, people. That's the thing with med spas. That's when you start sending these packages and these brochures to bigger companies, and they put their staff in there. They have other people do big packages. I mean, like a company with 100 people, right? You're getting it because you're building the traffic. CBD, you see a lot of CBD stores out here, right? And the CBD stores are pretty straightforward. They're going to buy a lot of stock, and it's the draw and the appeal of CBD. The marketing it markets itself. Now, what do I mean it markets itself? People are Googling, right? Like, oh, CBD oil, I might try that. I'm nervous. I don't want to try drugs. Maybe try CBD oil. It's only got a little bit in it. So you'll have people buying those stores. An oldie but a goodie has always been mattress stores because they, it's such a low price point. That's why you saw Mattress Firm have so many. And that was actually money laundering, but that's a whole other story. Jiffy Lubes. You'll always see a bunch of Jiffy Lubes. Franchise, people always buy those. Why? Because car maintenance. Again, there's a segment of our population who is into luxury. And even with this pandemic, they're going to be into luxury even more because it'll be cheaper. Then you have a segment of people who are just in a maintaining, and I'm not calling them poor, they're in a maintenance position where they're just trying to maintain what they have. They're trying to maintain their cars, maintain their houses. They go to Lowe's and Home Depot and they're just trying to maintain what they have. So you need to determine, who are you trying to reach out to? Are you trying to reach out to that 20%, right? Because for me, I'm not trying to have these huge luxury whatevers, but a nice medium, right? And a nice medium here in Texas, especially where I'm at, is we're advocating to the North Austin people. What is North Austin in comparison to South Austin? North Austin and Pflugerville and Round Rock and Hutto, you're going to have a component of the Apple workers, the other tech companies, people who want more land, people who want a bigger house, people who want to be in, have their offices out here because they can get a cheaper space. There's growth coming this way in North Austin. So that's kind of North Austin, Hutto, Pflugerville. So that's where my focus and my attention is, because that's where the growth is. So you can find businesses in those spaces to buy. L. Richards, I would buy if I were you, yeah. How many different businesses should we strive to have? Lisa Young, it just depends on the person. A husband and wife team may be able to do more. I'm just one person, and for me, I don't necessarily need 3 or 4. If I buy a business, it already has to have it. It's kind of have to, like, the biggest part of me buying this Texas Ground Zero is the guys are staying on. And then they're going to train the foreman, and then I already have a proper operations manager who is like looking at this as his retirement. So he's all in. He's 150% in, because this is like, he's going to make this work for the next 10, 15 years. He considers this his last job ever, right? So hold on a second, y'all.
My name is Oliver.
Can I get a 10-piece chicken nuggets, the meal?
The combo now?
Yes. Can I get large fries, large drink?
Absolutely. Would you like the method to be spicy or regular?
Oh, well, regular's fine.
All right. And you wanted large combo?
Yeah, large combo's fine.
What would you like to drink?
Do you have? Let's just do that Dr. Pepper cherry vanilla.
Dr. Pepper cherry vanilla?
Oh, no, no, no. Let's do that Dave's strawberry citrus soda.
Dave strawberry citrus?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
All right. The sauce chicken nuggets?
Can I get a sweet and sour sauce?
Sweet and sour? Yes, ma'am. Anything else I can get for
No,
you?
ma'am. That's it.
All right. Would you like to add a cookie to your order?
No cookies. No cookies.
All right. Your total's going to be $7.95 at the window.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I went and, got me some cookies there. I didn't want the cookies, but I kind of do want the cookies, but I'm not going to get the cookies. That'd be good. Let's see what they got going on here. You guys are popular today.
Did you have the large combo, 10-piece nugget,
I did.
fries, and a Dr. Pepper?
Uh-huh.
Awesome. That comes out to be $7.95.
Yep. Yeah, CM Burn already said I was taking a break, so you can be quiet. Thank you. Perfect.
And your change comes out to be $12.05, ma'am, whenever you're ready.
We're going to get there. Thank you. Good night.
You too.
All right. So yeah, buybizsell.com is the site I'm always talking about because that's where I go to look for businesses, right? Now, I don't go there necessarily to look for business. I look for what's popular or not popular. Now, let me clarify. If I see a lot of the same businesses on there in the same area, then I may not want to buy that type of business because it's all in the same area, right? It's all in the same area. And it may not be doing well, okay? So, but here's the thing. If I look at the store, the CBD store, well, actually the cryotherapy place that I like, it really can run with just 2 to 3 staff, less than that, really, because you have the cryotherapy machine that you have to train them on, and then you have what's the thing in the back? It's like oh goodness, it's a thing that it's a sauna noise maker. I can't remember the exact name. And vitamin everybody keeps cracking me up by my windows. I'm not gonna sell this car. I'm gonna in fact put this car somewhere and put like a signage on it, like, hey, this is the car I got my first millions in, and da 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 da. I'm gonna put it out either at Texas Grounds or somewhere because I think it's hilarious. But so everybody's trying to go towards digital businesses, and I get it and I understand it. You think it's going to be easy. Guess what? With a digital business, you're still going to have to drive traffic. You're still going to have to drive traffic to your digital business. Empire Flippers, any of those businesses, you're going to have to drive traffic to those businesses. Any of them. Same thing with any physical business. A physical business that's already established has clients that already go to it. So your goal is to do what? Increase the amount of clients that go to said already operating business. 9 times out of 10, the person who owns the business, they just tired of it. They tired of the business. Okay? And they're tired of the business. They want to get out of it. Like, there was a husband and wife team who has like a donut morning shop and coffee, and after 4 years, yeah, it had picked up and it got a lot of traffic. It was paying them, but they were just tired of it. They were tired from the initial building of the business, and that's what people don't see. Like, the building of a business can wear you out to the point that you're like, okay, I don't want to be up in here, right? And so the donut and coffee place that I saw over here off Cedar Park, all you needed was staff to be your morning people. Don't be the people making the donuts. If getting up at 5 a.m. making the donuts makes you tired, hire a person to do making the donuts in the morning, right? And so you'll see a business and you go, well, I would just do this. That would make that a lot easier. And that's just it. They're emotionally attached to it. They, sometimes they're the only person who can make it right or make it work. And so there's a lot of reasons and factors why people will sell a business that have nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with it. Break it up. And that's part of it, what you're looking for. But I'm just going to say that just a lot of this is mindset and not being so emotionally invested, right? Like, I tell people now, I'm like, if I lost all of everything today, I'd start over and do A, B, and C, right? I've already talked about that in a previous video. How would I start over? What would I do? Because it's all just processes and systems. They're all businesses. You can do any of them. You know, when people say, well, should I do this or should I do that? It's up to you. It's your world, honey. You decide, right? You know, can you get up every day owning that place? Could you get up every day and knowing at some point in time you may have to check in on that business? That's the thing. So really, learning systems, SOPs, can you have employees work that place? Having a business that doesn't require you. I mean, you being the face of it. Even YouTube's hard in that aspect that, like, if you're the face of your channel, I've seen a lot of these kids, they are burnt out when they're editing videos, they're making videos, they're doing all this stuff, they're trying to keep people engaged. No, not doing it. I'd rather just go clean up old videos and run ads on them. I don't have to do this. You don't have to do anything. You have a choice every day of your life. You have a choice. So I just wanted to make that clear because I think people think maybe I'm not saying I'm doing it, but that we're making it seem like you could just start a business tomorrow just like that. It's nothing. It's nothing once your mindset is in place that a business is a piece of paper, right? It's a piece of paper. You take that piece of paper to the bank, you put some paper in the bank, now you have a business, right? You start building up, email for that business. You start building up a phone number. You start having things attached to that business. You start building it up, right? And that's even a lot of these YouTubers, what you're not seeing, a great one is Anthony Tran. I think that's his name, where he used to be talking about being an engineer and he was so exhausted. Well, his mom died of cancer and he realized, well, I can just keep buying my freedom. I can just keep buying other businesses, pieces of businesses, money in Fundrise, money in these different places, and money will come to me. He bought a piece of his friend's business and it gives him like $3,000 a month. And that was more than enough for what he's trying to do. He lives in the Philippines. Do you know what I'm saying? You just don't have to do it. You can make a decision. You have to be able to decide, okay, how does this system roll? So, look, I just wanted to give that out there to you guys because I keep getting a lot of consulting calls like, should I start a business? Should I, this Rona? And it's like, hey, some of y'all might just need to go back to work or pick a different line of work or pick a job that pays more. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of us would die. I would die in another office job working for someone. I would literally just pass out in an office working for someone because I already know. I just know how to run stuff. So I would start over and I would just collect money and build another business and run ads on it and keep going because I know how to do it now. So with that being said, like, I just want y'all to keep that in mind. When you go look, there's more than just the reason of money for why a lot of these businesses are selling and closed. You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing business owners who've been in business for 30 years, like, I'm gonna spend more time home. And it becomes one of those things of, it has nothing to do with passion. That wears me out when people are like, you should have a passion. So what's your passion? No one has a passion for toilets. No one has a passion for painting. Some people do. But in general, it's called service. And it's called that things must get done. And that's part of the problem with this generation is we have a lot of people who are so, my passion is to be with a supermodel and to be with a hot woman, and that's my passion. Well, I'm sorry, that doesn't pay your bills. Please stop. Like, please grow up here. We have a lot of arrested development out here on these internet streets, and it gets exhausting. The passion movement is just that, a passion. If you try to make your passion that would normally pay you $2,000 or $3,000 a month support you 100%, you got to burn yourself out. So I always tell people, nothing wrong with having a passion, but make sure you're taking that money and putting it into assets, because we've moved into an asset-based economy, right? People are like, well, all these Asians and Indians, they own everything. No, it's an asset-based economy. So, all the H marks and all the stuff that people are buying, their assets, right? That's it. And you just have to determine which side of the asset are you on. Are you the person paying someone's mortgage every month? Are you the person shopping at a business every day or shopping at a corner store? I mean, again, it's just how you split it. And again, so for me, just the point of this whole video was buying assets frees your time, right? Buy the asset, let it pay you. Don't get over emotionally invested. It's just an asset. And then also the same thing with, you know, buying someone's business. They're emotionally invested, and they may be so emotionally invested they're exhausted, right? And then at that point, you can come in and go, hey, listen, I'll take care of the big responsibility. We'll make sure the payroll gets done. We'll make sure this gets done. Now, when you say that, you'll make sure the payroll and all that stuff gets done, right? That means that means you need to figure out in that gap space, wherever their gap, because everybody's got a gap. Whenever they want to sell a business like that, they have some kind of gap going on. In that gap space, you need to you need to increase the business. Now, whatever that means. I'm a great marketing and promotion person, and anytime I step outside of my gift of marketing and promotion and talking to people and super connecting people to other people, things struggle. So for me, when I see a business and I can write down on a piece of paper all the things that it needs to improve, that okay, this is what it needs, and then hand that off to someone who can complete it. Period. That's kind of how it works. But that's all I had for y'all today. A lot of I didn't mean to do so many, but that's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Hope this helps somebody. Later.